Hello and welcome. You are watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, summer 2081 has begun on a positive note with the index ending higher during the token 1-hour Muhurat trading session on Friday. And that has also marked the snapping of a 4-week of losing streak for the Nifty as well. Although when we see the month gone by has actually been a trying one for investors, we've actually seen the index fall 6%, marking its worst monthly drop since March of 2020. There was relentless selling from foreign institutions who sold in every single session during the month, coupled with earnings disappointment, which added to index woes and eroded 30 lakh crore rupees worth of investors' wealth as well. As we move into this new the new week as well, the all-important US presidential election outcome will be important to track. There'll be many global cues that we will be tracking across the corners, which I will be highlighting it a little later. And of course, back home, the earnings trajectory will continue for us to track as well. And we will also help you understand as to what the FII-DI position is so far. But right now, 24,300 back on the screen, 0.5% increase on the Nifty is what we saw on Friday. And the Nifty Bank is also up at about 51,673 to start off with. Good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The weather has cooled down in Delhi dramatically. For those staying in this wonderful city, they will realize that early mornings are cooler than what they were in October. And Sakshi, that is the sentiment that's also percolated on Dalal Street. We have sentiment as cool as it can be. While that's not good news for bulls, but it's time for stock pickers to enjoy an extended period of good fortune where they can buy quality stocks available at much cheaper prices. But this week itself is quite eventful. We'll start as usual with the daily chart of the Nifty, and you will see that over the last 8 trading sessions, the Nifty has been unable to go above the 100-day EMA. Such is the selling pressure, such is the option selling by call writers, that it refuses to move above 24,500, and with each successive effort that fails, the 100-day resistance gets stronger and stronger. Against that backdrop is a very, very heavy index and event-led week, this 5 trading sessions. Not only do we start this first full day of Samvat 2081, we are at the throes of the world's biggest election in the US, the results of which will be clear tomorrow, November 5th. It's as they say in Hindi, kaante ki takkar between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. The results will be known a little later, but the event itself will pan out tomorrow. On November 6th and 7th, which is Wednesday and Thursday, the weekly expiries of the Bank Nifty and the Nifty respectively, is the US Federal Reserve meet. On 7th night, which is Thursday, we will know the outcome of the interest rate cut. Mostly people expect 25 basis points. Likely you will see another 50 basis points because the jobs data report is terrible. But all that aside, ladies and gentlemen, just look at the US 10-year yield. This is the most worrisome chart for bulls across the world, including India, at about 44.32%. This is the highest since July 3rd. And the most painful part of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is the lone graph which is responsible for bears across the world to gather strength. At its highest since July 3rd, the US 10-year yield has appreciated 18% since October 1st. What Sakshi mentioned was pain in equities was primarily because of the US 10-year yield accelerating from a low of 3.72 on 1st of October to 4.32, which was the Friday's number. This is the most painful part of equities. As long as the yield goes up, there is absolutely no hope that bulls can have on the higher side. It will be met with consistent selling pressure. The other pain point, ladies and gentlemen, is crude oil futures, up for the 5th day in a row. And now there are chances that Iran will retaliate on Israel in the Middle East crisis. So that's put crude oil futures on the boil up for the fifth day. These two are extremely negative for Indian markets, and that is what is going to impact Nifty. Apart from these two major events, these four events that I have highlighted, US elections, US Federal Reserve, rising US yield, crude oil prices, you have the Chinese National Party Committee meeting for the 5 days in a row from Monday to Friday. The outcome will be known over the next week, but any stimulus in China will ensure that money moves out of India towards Chinese markets where valuations are little more attractive. What else is a pain point? Well, you have 10 Nifty earnings this week, including Tata Motors and State Bank of India, as also 4 F&O stocks, which is ABB, Bata, you have Exide and IRCTC reporting today. So this is going to be a very, very heavy event-led week for the first weekly Samvat that we will start today. In addition to that, Sakshi, a lot of people have forgotten that from 17th November onwards, a lot of weekly futures on Bank Nifty, on Sensex and on several other indices will stop, and we will revert to monthly futures. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, the eventful week that is ahead of us, and most likely you will see pain on the Nifty, consolidation on the Bank Nifty and the IT index, which will buttress the fall on the Nifty, and small caps and mid caps are also likely to come under selling pressure. Let's get back to Sakshi, understand what our foreign friends are doing. I bet the number is negative, and of course what happened on Wall Street.
Absolutely, Shail. So on Friday, we did see the Dow Jones average end about 0.6% higher. The S&P 500 also settled about 0.4% higher. The Nasdaq ended with 0.8% gains as well. This is all right ahead of the US presidential election results that will be known from 5th late night or 6th for us as well. We will be getting to know some results that will be coming in. Consensus also remains that FOMC meeting, which will be held, will also continue to slash at least 25 basis points of rates after the non-farm payroll howler on Friday came in due to hurricanes and strikes. That's another important point to note as well. So the markets are higher, but right ahead of all of these very key events that will unfold over this week. Most of the Asia Pacific region also rose in the early morning trading session today, right ahead of the key events of this week. And Japan's Nikkei, however, will remain closed on account of a holiday. Australia's ASX 200 rose by 0.2%. We've also seen South Korea's Kospi rise more than about 1.5% in the early morning trading session. Hang Seng and SSE China both up. Remember, China will be important, as Shail has highlighted. The anticipation is there of another major stimulus announcement, which has already started to do rounds, and that is also adding to some more volatility. Right now, it's a green screen across Asia. Flattish with a positive bias opening for the GIFT Nifty for the Nifty, as is being indicated by the GIFT Nifty right now, which is indicating an opening at 24,312. When we look at the overseas cues from investors, well, they have remained net sellers, as Shail has pointed out, for the 25th straight session on Friday as well. Offloaded stocks, domestic institutional investors, however, they remained buyers for 28th straight session as well. So there was no let up in the sell-off for FIIs. Already they have sold about 5,813 crores in cash as on Thursday. And on the Muhurat trading session, FIIs sold about 211 odd crore rupees. For Thursday's DII, net buying was 3,514 odd crores. For Muhurat trading session, DIIs, however, also net sold at 377 odd crore rupees as well. But remember, for the entire month of October, FPIs have offloaded 1.14 lakh crore rupees worth of stocks, while DIIs have mopped up stocks worth about 1.07 lakh crore rupees as well. Let's look at a key stocks that you could be looking at today. Zen Technologies, here the earnings have come in, net profit at 62 crores. It's a jump from 15 crores last year. Revenues come in at 241 odd crore rupees from 66.5 crore rupees last year. Again, a good jump. EBITDA up to about 80 odd crore rupees from 19 crores earlier. EBITDA margins improved to 33.1% from 28.4% last year, same quarter. The current order book stands at 956 odd crore rupees. So keep an eye out on this one. Several orders coming in. NCC has won an order worth about 3,496 odd crore rupees from central, state government and private companies. Premier Energies is going to be in focus. Its arm Premier Energies International and photovoltaic bags has bagged multiple orders worth about 560 odd crore rupees. We'll keep an eye out on the auto stocks. Remember, a whole host of numbers came in over the weekend, and Hero sales have increased by 18.1% at 6.79 lakh units. That may be important to watch. TVS sales were up 14%. Royal Enfield reported a 31% growth. Tata Motors passenger vehicle sales were absolutely flat. Maruti domestic sales were down 2.3%. Hyundai has seen about a 2% growth in sales in October. So that's the overall, auto space that will be in focus today. Ashoka Buildcon has again won orders worth about 312 odd crore rupees from Maharashtra State Electricity Transmission Company. Keep an eye out on that too. NBCC has won multiple orders worth 235 odd crore rupees from Power Grid, SSVV, Varanasi as well. Keep an eye out on that too. From the pharma space, I'm keeping a keen eye out on Sun Pharma Industries. Remember, the US District Court of New Jersey has granted a preliminary injunction delaying the launch of its drug Leqselvi by Sun Pharma. As a result of this court decision, the company is now prohibited from launching Leqselvi until a subsequent favorable court ruling comes in going forward from here. So those are some of the stocks that we will be keeping a keen eye out on, Shail.
Ladies and gentlemen, just the right time to welcome Mr. Vineet Bolinchkar, Head of Research at Ventura Securities. He joins us from the financial capital of Mumbai. नमस्ते विनीत जी, स्वागत है आपका। संवत 2081 की शुरुआत हम लोग आपसे कर रहे हैं और उम्मीद करते हैं कि बहुत बढ़िया साल सबका कटेगा। 2080 में अक्टूबर ने सिर्फ थोड़ी दिक्कत दी, बाकी साल बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से सबने शानदार पैसे कमाए। बताइए, हाउ डू यू सी सेंटिमेंट ऑन दलाल स्ट्रीट अगेंस्ट द बैकड्रॉप ऑफ अ वेरी हैवी event led week, the one that we are starting today?
So Shail, let me take off on what you were saying in the earlier part of the program. I happened to log in early and listen to you, and what I could see is that you pointed a graph out on the US Treasury bills. I think that is the most significant chart that is going to drive global markets. So what are the things impacting that? One is that obviously the debt is completely out of control. Second thing is that here we are, on one hand we are talking of job markets not doing well, and we are talking of a rate cut, but here the yields are going up. So I think what we should be looking at is the yields, because ultimately that is what the market is telling you. And to my mind, lack of confidence in the American economy is going to drive the rates up no matter what kind of rate cuts you take, right? So, and that is the thing which is a trend that is picking up, right? And today what is happening is that return of capital is going to become more important than the return on capital as far as the US markets are concerned. Okay, and that is going to be the market for the global markets as such. So today there was a report which said that the US net savings rate is negative $22.5 trillion. Okay, and all that is being propped up by the European flows into the US markets, right? So as long as this is intact, you can expect the can being rolled down the road, but I don't think that it can happen far too much into the future, and the US Fed government will have to take to pump priming the economy, or printing money, or they would have to call for severe catastrophic actions where they will have to really take disciplinary action to cut the debt. Okay, and I wanted to point out a couple of things to you. irrespective of who comes to the government to form the government. If you believe that Trump will form the government, then you must understand his chief man who's going to bell the cat is going to be Elon Musk. And if you've seen what he has done with the Twitter, he made it bare bones and then built it from the ground up. Then you can expect him to be true to his character and do exactly that. Cut fiscal spending ruthlessly. And if he were to do that, you know, I think there would be a sudden kind of a attack that the US economy will face, which will be temporary, good for the economy, and then the markets do their job. But that would mean pain for the global economy in the short run. On the other hand, if you have the existing incumbent, which is Kamala Harris, come in, then what is going to happen is that they're going to blow away their fiscal deficit to oblivion with the kind of policies that they are running. So that too is negative for the interest rates and for the dollar markets. So that will also ensure that money goes out of the US, and that is going to create a kind of a unknown animal. How to play with it. So both are very risky events. And for me, I think if you were to draw your go back to basic theory of economic investing, money goes into equities as long as the risk premium justifies the premium over the bond markets. And to my mind, I think that the premium is the risk to that premium is going to see money flow from equities to bonds.
That's going to be very important to watch out for. Good morning to you, Vinny. Thanks for pointing out all of these factors that will be very important to see how the money flow really shapes up this entire week, which is going to be very important globally with massive set of events coming in. Could you also point out how are you looking at the China NPC that wraps up on Friday? That will give us an indication on what kind of stimulus really comes in. It's already caused a lot of volatility the first time around in the Indian markets in October when it happened. Second time around, what are the things that are important for the average Indian retail investor to keep an eye out on, and how will that also impact the money flow?
So, as far as the result season is concerned, I think quite a bit of the damage has already been done. So to my mind, as long as we trade about 24/7, 23's, 2400, 24,000 index levels, I think the markets would remain range bound. But if we were to look at uh, the trend that is playing out in the market on the last day on the Murat trading day, you will find that the futures were quite negative despite very heavy buying because they were selling from both DIs and FIs. I believe that the FI selling would continue because China has no other option but to give another stimulus, and we will see still more money being plucked out of the Indian markets, and that could keep the markets under pressure.
Vineet, in the dismal environment that both of us and Sakshi have described for equities and the preponderance of bonds, how do you navigate the next 3.5, 6 months in Indian equities? Is this time, I'm asking a very radical question, is this time to sell the portfolio and maybe move to a bond fund or a liquid fund? Or what does one do? Maybe move 50% portfolio to cash and 25% to bond portfolios and let equity remain? What should one do?
No, so India has its own growth pockets, which will continue in spite of whatever has happened. And you will see quality perform the way it did in 2018 to 20. When we had a dismal environment, quality stocks did very well. So I think quality stocks are the ones who are going to perform. And when we talk of quality, what are we looking at? High ROE plays with low kind of valuations that are there, and where the growth story stays intact. So these are some of the areas that one can look at deploying their money. On the overall strategy, I think pairing off of a little bit of, it's a tactical shift moving to bond market because right now the equities are looking a little worrisome. Moving, I'm not saying you get out of Indian equities. Indian equities are going to do well. The future is very strong. But, sometimes you have to take a tactical exit. And this is the time when, you move a portion of your money into the bond market.
Okay, you've got that. We will be really looking at the bond space more carefully now onwards and tracking that too for all our viewers, since you've highlighted that this may be the right time or probably the time to do that tactical shift in your portfolios as well. So we'll delve deeper as we move along, during the course of the day and weeks going forward from here. But in case one still has to look at any pockets, Vineet, where one can continue to safely deploy, SIP strategy in the Indian markets or continue to accumulate during this long time frame correction that we are going through, which are the pockets that still give you that value?
So, I think pharma and diagnostic space looks very interesting. Out here, we like Eris Life Sciences, again, domestic focused companies. Eris Life Sciences in the diagnostic space, we are very positive on Krishna Diagnostics, which is a small cap play. But, they have presence in almost 170 districts of the country in 750, and they are very, very long term PPP contracts with the government of the states and municipalities. And despite pricing being at a discount to their peers because it is less than CGSS rates, they still maintain very, very comparative margins and return profile. So I think that is one company which we initiated recently. It looks very strong. I've spoken to you about pharma stocks, and I think that the fintech plays which are there, they also offer a lot of opportunity even now because digitization is only going to accelerate in the country. So I think Paytm, a Fino Payments Bank, on both these we are very, very positive, and I think these stocks can do really well going ahead.
Okay.
8:57, ladies and gentlemen. We are 3 minutes away from what is going to be the first full day of trade as far as Samvat 2081 is concerned. Coming to you, Vineet, on specifics in the market, you've mentioned diagnostic space looking good. What are the spaces that you're avoiding like plague, despite correction in prices over the last 3 months or so? What do you not like at all?
Actually, in the Indian market, to say that you don't like any space is not the right question because I think that every pocket in the economy is growing. And if you ask me what I don't like, which the market loves today, is the IT stocks. I have been a persistent bear on these IT stocks. And I think that, if the US economy does not, or the situation in the US plays out the way it does, then I think these stocks can come in for a hammering. So if you ask me what I don't like IT plays because they, for the last few years, they have been reporting very, very single digit growth. They are the most research stock, they're the most talked about, and they have not been really adding value to the business, but purely because from a defensive perspective, mutual funds have been piling into them and keeping their valuations where they are. I think there is a severe correction going to happen in these stocks, and my advice is to, despite the outperformance, is to continuously stay away from here.
Okay, got it. Stay away from IT. That's the word coming in from Vineet. How about the auto stocks, Vineet? How are you assessing the sales that have come in amidst the festive season for four-wheelers versus two-wheelers? Where do you think the promise could be seen, and where do you think problems may still continue within the auto pack?
So I think the fizz has run out of the entire autoplay as such. So I think that the autoplay has seen a correction, and within that, I am tending to like Hero Motors because it has seen a very severe correction. and the numbers were pretty okay. So would you be buying at this price? I think a better price point would be somewhere around between 47 to 4800. But you know, you can start sipping into this item from current levels.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are seconds away from what is going to be the first session for 2081. And let's look at how prices are coming up. I'd rather not talk about the Nifty, it's 300 points down. We'll wait for it to settle for the better. Let's look at the positivities in the market. I hope this always is true. Axis Bank 3% higher at 1204. ITC clicking 8 rupees 70, 9 rupees 70 higher. Lever 57 rupees higher, 25.75. These prices will also settle down lower, as will prices of ICICI Bank settle higher. It's down 36 rupees. It won't open like that. Infosys and TCS are in pain, 3 percentage points down. Nothing to be worried about. What we'll do is we'll let the Nifty settle down to its issues and look at the NSE 500 in terms of the most active counters where you see gains. Okay, anything that I'd like to mention? Bajaj Auto 3.5% higher, 10,197. Let's look at the auto space today for a change in the beginning. Lots of positive news coming in from Eicher Motors in particular. Let's look at Eicher 4954. Hero Motors is something that Vineet just pointed out, 4% higher. He likes it, 5210, and he likes it because it's been thrashed beyond belief over the last 1 month or so. Let's look at some other numbers. Maruti responded with a 4% rise in October sales, 1.7% higher, 11,299. The Nifty is back in the green, ladies and gentlemen, 4 points higher at 24,307. Let's look at the outperformers in the FNO space on the long side. That will give you an idea what markets are thinking. It's the auto day. Hero Motors, Bajaj Auto, Maruti, ONGC to some extent 1.2% higher. Remember I mentioned 5 days of gains on the crude oil number, so you can look at that one. Plus let's look at some interesting stocks. We have HDFC Bank 2.29% higher, 1776. Siemens has shown a strong trend, 8% higher, 7500. Coal India 1.2% higher. So it's looking good in fits and starts as far as individual quality stocks are concerned. So a bit of bottom buying is happening. Let's hope it continues into quality stocks. What is down? Okay, TCS 3% lower, Bharti Airtel 1% lower, Marico down 1%, Trent down 1.8%, and BPCL, IOC, HPCL also suffering in the red. This is how markets have opened. Let's get back to Vineet and have this wonderful discussion that we are having on quality stock picking. Within the PSU and the railway space, Vineet, some signs coming back that momentum lovers are back into counters such as RVNL, IRCTC, and so many others such as IRFC, rights and all. Do you think the worst of the pain is behind us and quality folks are getting back into these stocks after massive corrections?
So, it is my opinion, which is a contra opinion, is that I think that there is still more corrective action to play out in these stocks. And, so I will only, all what has been happening is that every time the stock bottoms out, people think that the dip is a buy opportunity. In my opinion, we have still a long way to go in terms of correction. There's still expensive stocks. I think HAL can come off even more from current levels. So, my opinion is that these defensives and the PSUs are going to be laggards because, now every opportunity, whenever there's a global, whenever there is enough sentiment, the government is going to come and sell these stocks, or do an OFS in these. So that earlier there was a lot of demand, but right now I feel that the demand will turn into supply, and there will be a little bit of concerns around these. And so I think that there is going to be some kind of corrections still yet to play out in these stocks.
Okay, got it. Right time to welcome Vaishali Parekh also in the panel discussion. She's the Vice President Technical Research at Prabhudas Leeladhar. Good morning to you, Vaishali, and good to have you with us on the first day of Samvat 2081. We do expect our Lady Luck will continue to shine bright on the D Street. Well, tell us, Vaishali, how are you really going to be trading the first full session of 2081? Where are you going to keep your focus, and any key stocks that you are looking at?
Very good morning to all of you, and a very happy good Samvat 2081 to all of you also. Yes, that's what we always want. And yes, so market is right now settling down at 24,000 levels. So I guess as far as we talk about the index, it is 24,000 on the near term support and 350 today's resistance. If we move past, we are heading towards 24 500 to 600. Bank Nifty also, well, we are looking at 50,000 on a weekly support and 53,000 is the resistance. Now, stock specific, I would say, well, my focus would be from here on, would be on ICICI Bank, of course, on HDFC Bank. So these two stocks are to my liking right now. Along with that, well, Tata Chemicals shows a lot of strength. For today, I'm looking at Ramco Cement. It's giving a breakout. I mean, it's attempting to come out of its long consolidation. So, for a quick trading strategy, I would look at Ramco Cement because time and again we are seeing that it is showing resistance at around 888, 890 levels, and we saw a good close above that. So this would be the stock which would be on my focus, and Tata Chemicals technically very well placed. So I think that is one stock that I would look at.
Fair point. A warm welcome to you, Vaishali. And as Sakshi points out, you are our Lady Luck. You saved the day on last Thursday as well, when the markets were in terrible shape. So we always credit all bounces to you in the market towards the green side. And we look forward to wonderful conversations. Within the Nifty and within the banking sector, name one stock that you think is doing phenomenally well on rollovers and on the charts. The one that we can hope to see strengthen for November at least.
So I think ICICI is a favored stock right now. That is what I would look at.
Okay. ICICI Bank, that's something that we will be definitely keeping a keen eye out on. So Vaishali has also already marked ICICI, HDFC Bank, Tata Chem and Ramco Cement as some of her top picks right there. Let's get in Vineet also on board. Within the large private sector banks, how are you assessing the moves that we've seen in the last few weeks build up on these banks, especially amidst the earnings that have come in? Do you think the time has come to at least lap onto some of these stocks, if not all, or do you think still there is a long way to go for them to come out into momentum?
So I believe that HDFC Bank has done reasonably well. The numbers were pretty okay. And HDFC Bank is going to see good traction. And we are seeing a little bit of that trade take place where people were, piling into ICICI Bank as a safe haven. But with HDFC also coming into its own, I think there could be a trade-off here with HDFC Bank uh, getting its premium back, and to that extent, mild selling happening in ICICI Bank. That is not to say that ICICI Bank is not a great stock, but there could be some sort of little bit of sidewise movement on that counter going ahead.
Okay. 908, ladies and gentlemen, the Nifty has settled, and this time in the green, 11 points higher. Let's see whether the early morning damage on Infosys and TCS has improved for the better. Okay, TCS down 0.5%, Infosys down still about 2%. ICICI Bank down ₹70. Let's see what HDFC Bank and Axis are doing. HDFC Bank is up 7.70, and Axis is 2.45 higher. Let's look at some positive changes in the F&O space. Hero Motors. This one, Vaishali, for you, 5127, beaten black and blue, now showing signs of at least recouping some of those losses. How does the Hero Motor chart look to you?
So, well, it has shown signs of bottoming down, oversold zone and all, but I think, yes, what is important is that 5280 needs to be crossed. So, till then, I would say it is a range of 4800 to 5280.
Okay. In fact, we are also looking at Bajaj Auto sales come in as well. Total sales are now at 4.79 lakh units. This is ahead of estimates that were somewhere around 4.7 lakh units as well. So, that's a bit of a positive that's coming in. Let's get in. We need to talk about this. Although the domestic sales for Bajaj Auto have slipped 8% to 3.03 lakh units, and that's a slip of 8% on a year-on-year basis as well. Total sales are up 2% on a year-on-year basis. Exports, however, have improved 24% to 1.75 lakh units. Vinit, you did talk about Hero Moto, how it looks positive because it has gone through a long-term correction and earnings and sales have been better. How would you look at Bajaj Auto? We've seen stupendous run-up from about 5,000 odd levels to 13,000 odd levels, and then it retraced to 10,000 and now below that as well. Do you think the momentum will once again start on Bajaj Auto?
So, although they have painted a dismal picture, I think two-wheeler sales are going to pick up, and especially the EVs. So, EVs are high value, high margin products. And though the unit sales might come down, I believe that the value of the transactions are going to go up. So, I do not expect too much of a sell-off happening out there. Maybe at best a 5% hit in Bajaj Auto. But, then I will be a buyer out there.
Okay, and how about Ola Electric, Vinit? They've sold about 50,000 units in October. And how would you really look at it from two-way perspective? One, the customer complaints that have been going up. The company is trying to, of course, address it with EY on board now as well. But how are you really looking at things shaping up for Ola Electric right now?
So, they still kept their market share. Their market share upward of 30%, which is very encouraging. And the initial sell-off, the rise that had happened has come off. If they're able to sustain their market share, I believe that the EV space is now exploding in two-wheelers. And, more people, if you go on the streets, especially in, barring from Mumbai, if you go everywhere else, you'd see a lot of EVs also in the play. So I think that, this stock at best at 70 levels is going to attract a lot of buying going ahead.
Okay.
Right. 912, ladies and gentlemen, and 2 pain points, Sakshi. One is the fact that Enfield Bullet is being launched in an electric vehicle fashion. For purists like me who like that thumping sound in the bike, I am really pained, but let us see how the bike comes out. I'm sort of looking to test it again in my own lifetime. Vineet and Vaishali, I must tell you this, I have bought and sold more Bullet bikes than I have done on Aisha, the stock, but it's a painful journey in the life of a motorbiker that you see an electric Bullet. Let's see the outcome. And by the way, Maruti Suzuki is also showing its first all electric vehicle somewhere in Europe today. The launch is going to happen. The product is being made at Suzuki's plant in Gujarat. So keep these two stocks in mind. Both of them getting into the brand new territory of EVs, and let's see how it pans out. Vaishali, before markets open, a quick one on HDFC Bank.
So HDFC Bank, we maintain that, the trend has already begun. New entry, we would say 1720, 1710 is a good support level, and near-term resistance lies at 1780. So we need to wait and watch. It is a good buying opportunity even now, and wait for the stock to move above 1780. We would be heading towards the next target of 1840.
Okay, got it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are
yeah.
seconds away from the markets open, and this is an exciting day ahead, and week full of events, including the US election, including the US Federal Reserve meeting, and of course, much more. 43 points lower on the Nifty, 153 points lower on the IT index. The Nifty 500 is opening 63 points lower, and you have a 70-point red tick on the Nifty Bank. What is creating distress? Infosys, 25 rupees 50 lower, 1734. L&T continues to be in pain, 26 rupees lower, 3600. It's possible that it might test its 200 DMA again. Reliance, 10 rupees lower, 1328. What is HDFC Bank doing? At the moment, HDFC Bank is quoting 3 rupees 35 lower, 1733. Out of the top 10, Sakshi, on the Nifty, all 10 of them are in the red. So you can well imagine what the Nifty will be headed into. 96 points lower now, 100 points lower now, 24,200 is being tested. What's in top shape? Okay, M&M 4.5% higher, 29.28. Maruti in the green, but just about that, 11,130. You have a lot of Cipla and Pharma stocks in the green. Cipla 2.4% higher, 1595. Lupin getting back up, 2707. Let's look at the auto space. This is where the action is going to be. Look at Eicher Motors, look at Maruti. These are stocks that are event and news led. Bharat Forge is 0.5% higher. This is of course an auto ancillary, and M&M 3.5% higher. It's really very early to decide what to do, but pain on the Nifty continues. This is the US 10-year yield acting up. In the first 5, 7, 10 minutes of trade, in fact the first 3 minutes of trade, you see 150 points taken out in a whisk of a second. Now 24,150. The Nifty IT index has pain worth 300 points at least, 40,151. The banking index is down 250 points. Vineet, this is not turning out to be a new year that was expected by the bulls. Any opening comments that you have on the market?
So as I mean, as we had spoken just a few minutes earlier, I think that is playing out, and your eye should be on the US T-bill rates, not anywhere else, and just seeing the movement around that. So if it goes up a few bips, you'll see more selling out here, because that is going to impact the sentiment, and it's going to be a global play. And you'll also need to see what is the CCP doing in China, because that's going to take your allocations away. And then you got to see, as prices collapse, whether the SIP flows still keep coming in, and the buying the dip continues to happen. So these are three monitorables, and that's the way to play this market.
Okay, we will be keeping an eye out on all those factors, barring the auto. Rest all of the spaces are now in the red as far as the sectoral movers are concerned, and the auto has also now slipped into the red and it's given up. 16.7 for India VIX, it's up by 5.6%. So highly volatile market right in the opening levels. We are now at 24,150 has been tested on the downside. 24,147 currently, 153 points lower on the Nifty. All the sectors down, with sharp losses being seen across consumer durables, oil and gas. Small caps are down by 1.1%. Infra, pharma, Nifty next 50, they're all down in trade. The Nifty PSE index is also down by 1.3%. The only few gainers on the Nifty are from the auto pack. M&M is now 2.6% higher, Eicher Motors 0.7%. Cipla, HCL Tech, IndusInd Bank, HDFC Life, Dr. Reddy's and Apollo Hospitals, the only gainers on the Nifty. Sharp declines being seen on Sun Pharma. Remember that news came in on the US District Court on New Jersey granting preliminary injunction in the case of drug Leqselvi. And that's playing up 3.7% lower for this one. Bajaj Auto is down by 3%, so muted set of numbers getting reaction. Infosys, Coal India, Adani Ports and Hero Moto are the other top drags. On the F&O space again, M&M remains the top mover. Eicher Motors, Tech Mahindra, NMDC, Cipla and HCL Technologies still up and about in trade. Vaishali, would you stick with the auto space as a safe zone today, or will that also not be on the radar now?
Well, I think more than the auto, well, we were talking about Mahindra and Mahindra.
Yeah.
It's just attempting a bounce back, but the strength lies only about 3,000 level. So yes, Mahindra and Mahindra, I would say a range of 2,650 to 3,000 levels right now. Unless and until it moves above 3,000, I think it's a sideways move. But I see some activity beginning in IT stocks. So I would be focusing on those because IT sector on the whole has really corrected. And I would now look at few chosen stocks if they have come towards the support levels. Like have a look at HCL Technology, Coforge. They're showing some momentum. I would look at these stocks for now.
Okay.
Fair point. I think it's a very difficult call to take whether to buy this dip or let this falling knife accelerate. I think 24,000 would be a deciding ground, as it is for the last 8-9 trading sessions. The 100-day EMA has prevented the Nifty from moving above 24,200, 24,300, 24,400, and with each passing day the resistance and call writers on these successive levels continue to sort of get stronger and stronger, and the bulls continue to get weaker and weaker. Nothing is helping, including second quarter earnings, and you have stocks in shadows of their earlier strength. Probably the sign that the market is giving is money is moving to defensives, and you can see that old world favorites like Lupin are coming back into the picture. A very quick one from you, Vaishali, on Lupin. We now have a price of 22,600. And this is almost a 3-week high on the counter. What are the charts telling you?
I think Lupin is a good buy even now. Because overall, if you see today, I mean, just before coming to the channel, I saw Pharma index is showing some signs of bottoming out, a new round of momentum to set in. So to start with Lupin, I think this is a good buying opportunity, and one can look for a trading target of at least 2,300, 2,350.
Okay. Right. So that's as far as the Lupin is concerned within the pharma pack. Let's get in Vineet into the conversation. Vineet, I clearly remember, in the previous summer we have discussed the pharma space a lot with you. And that's the space that you also are looking at now. You've highlighted stocks like Dr. Reddy's just when the momentum was about to start in the previous summer. Tell us where exactly would you be focused on? Now you're saying that diagnostics are looking more important, more interesting to you at this point in time. So without, not looking at the main plays, but the diagnostic chains, will that be the key trade now?
So, as I pointed out to you, the stock of Krishna Diagnostics that I mentioned to you looks very, very, very strong. And we have a target of nearly double or additional to that from current levels. So that is going to be my single high conviction play out here. Apart from that, Natco Pharma looks very good because they have a slew of products that they're going to launch. They do very high ticket, difficult to do, and drugs which are coming off the value chain from expiry of patents. So that stock looks attractive. And Sun Pharma continues to be one of the bellwether stocks that will continue to do well.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as the pharma space is concerned.
Sakshi, I think pain will visit us in a very high degree of concentration. The most recent low is now at risk. 24,100 has been breached, and we haven't even had the first 10 minutes of trade. Remember, the low that we hit on 25th of October was 24,073. Now, if that collapses, then let me just first say that the 200 DMA is at 23,500. That is something that could be tested. And while Vaishali gives a commentary on the Nifty, I'll also look at the 24,000 Nifty put. Vaishali, to you.
Yes, so I think the bias is getting a bit corrective, and I would straight away go. I mean, once we see a decisive break of 23,800, I would look at 22,500.
22,500.
Okay, and the 2400 put, ladies and gentlemen, expiring on November 7th, is now at 158 rupees. Please keep an eye out on this one. This is already up 50%, so one has to be very cautious. But 24,000 Nifty put at expiring on November 7th is now at 165. Let's see how it goes. Vineet, this is also the month in which we will see many weekly expiries pausing. I think November 17th and 19th are the days when the Bank Nifty is weekly expiry, the Fin Nifty, the IT Index, my apologies, the Mid Cap Select and BankX weekly expiries will end. How do you think traders will react?
They will move to the larger series. They will move towards Nifty, because Nifty will be the weekly expiry that will be there. So you'll see more volatility, more trades happening around Nifty. It's all about opportunity and the what people want. So I think people will trade in the Nifty 50, because that gives you more kind of plays going ahead.
Okay, Vineet, also wanted to just get your sense as far as gold and silver are also concerned, and how are you really looking at these precious metals for this new Samvat too? Do you think these could be again turning out as safe haven investments, and one should be also looking at deploying some cash here beyond bonds as well, which you've earlier highlighted in the show today?
So the way I track these markets is more technically, because there is not too much of fundamental data that you can work on. But I'll tell you a couple of things. Silver is in short supply globally.
Okay.
So that trend has been established, that demand has overtaken supply, and that is going to be more prominent in India, because we have so many of these semiconductor players going to take shape, right? So, but it is crucial that silver cross 3350 or better 34 to get a very strong trend going up. Gold, on the other hand, has been seeing 2800, seeing a lot of supply come in on the dollar value basis. And until we don't breach 2800 out there, I think, the trend is going to be more sideways. But one thing is very sure, that, if you step back a few years, 1970, the contribution of gold to the overall financial asset class was 24%. Today, internationally, it is less than 1%. So, we have seen the yo-yo swing extremely to the other end, and the pendulum is going to correct, and we are going to see gold move up much, much higher in the years to come. So an allocation to gold is definitely warranted.
Okay. 9:28, ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to have a breakdown. 220 points lower on the Nifty, 24,084, and as I pointed out, you need to watch the Nifty 24,000 put expiring November 7th. That will now come into action. Let's look at the stocks that are contributing to this carnage that is about to take place. Let's look at the advance decline ratio. Clearly in favor of bears. Only 406 stocks are in the green, 1856 are in the red. All 19 indices that we track are in the red, led by the Nifty Energy Index, down 1.8%. The Alpha 50 is down 1.4%. Nifty Small Cap is down 1.3%. What about the mid cap? Down 1%. How about NSE 500, down 1%? So this is a painful start to Monday. I was telling you that temperature has cooled down in Delhi, and so it has on the Lal Street as well. The biggest pain point is coming from reliance on the Nifty. It's down 2.3% at 1307. Infosys is down 1.5%. ICICI Bank is down 1%. So Reliance is contributing a negative 30 points to the Nifty's fall. Infosys is contributing 25, ICICI Bank 24, 16 from Sun Pharma, and Bajaj Auto 15. And that August 25th low has broken. So the first 15-minute candle on the Nifty has now resulted in the index trading at, ladies and gentlemen, the lowest that it has since let's just say 6th of August. So we are now almost at a 3-month low, and this is not looking good at all. Vaishali.
So I would still wait for 24,000 levels to break. And of course, the candle, what we are seeing is quite a bearish candle, but I would wait for 24,000 levels to break to go short.
Okay. Vineet, just before we let you go, we wanted to also understand from you, looking at the first day of Samvat 2081, of course, you've highlighted a lot of factors that are at play, and one needs to be very, very cautious on those aspects which are globally at play. But should one be tempted to look at this correction to really see some of the quality stocks as a buying opportunity, or do you see this still as a falling knife and one should just let this play out? We do not know if the bottom is near. How are you looking at it?
So, if you want to buy into this market, buy the relative strength stocks is my way to play this market. Eicher Motors with, if their their Bullet electric is a hit, it's a global product. That changes the game for Eicher. In the auto space, if the EV boom catches up, as I told you, volumes may decline, but the values are going to be very high. So, that still protects your top line, and the margins also remain pretty buoyant. So I think, you have to play these names quite this thing. HDFC Bank, if they get their act together, then it is definitely going to continue its dream run. And we've seen some of the, negativity go out. So I think there is ample opportunity. And as I said, play the relatively better names.
Okay, got it. Well, we will thank you, Vineet, on that note. For
so
being
far,
with
ladies
us
and
on
gentlemen,
this show, and sharing with us all of those highlights and key stocks that you've also pointed out as well. It's always a pleasure to listen to you, and of course we'll be getting you more often to track the treasury and the bond market as well for all our viewers going forward from here as well. Thank you so much for being with us on day 1 of Samvat 2081. We hope it pans out great for you and for your loved ones.
Thank you, and wish you the same.
Thank you so much. All right, so we do have the markets which is falling. I mean, like now we have tested 24,100, down by 205 odd points as well. Only a few stocks that are still holding up in this market. Just about handful of those, 6 or 7 odd names which are still up. M&M, Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech, Cipla, IndusInd Bank, Dr. Reddy's, and HUL is now showing us some traction. So the markets apart from autos, seem to be extremely defensive at this point in time as well. Let's look at the F&O space. Petronet LNG is pulling up in trade. That's a new name that's getting added right there. But beyond that, it's still very, very grim. 2% lower for the oil and gas index, 1.5% lower for consumer durables, infra, small caps, they're all down in trade. Within the PSUs, sharp fall could be seen on IOC, about 3.5% lower. BHEL is down 3%. IRCTC is down 2.5% as well. HPCL, Oil India, Coal India, they're all down by over 2% as well. Even when we look at the Nifty next 50 names, there are several of those which have now slipped sharply lower. You have Tata Power, Indigo, they are down by over 2%. Zomato is down over 2% as well. REC, Avenue Supermarts, that's also down in trade. Dabur, Adani Green, that's all slipping away. Broader markets also see stocks like Poly Medicure, which were in a rallying zone last week, remember, 7% lower. Voltam Transformers, again an outperformer within the power space in the last few weeks, is now down by about 6% as well. Vaishali, let's get you to talk about this power space as a whole. Do you think one should be looking at any of these stocks within the downturn, or still not touch this?
Well, so I think it's a matter of time. We'll have to gauge it with the market index on the whole, because right now also, to start with, if you see Tata Power, it was showing good strength, but if it breaks 420 levels, then I think it's quite under threat. So I guess wait and watch. Nothing convincing so far. See, I mean, even Nifty is attempting
charts
to
on the screen. Okay, you were saying something, Vaishali, on the Nifty. Please continue.
Yes, so Nifty is attempting to break, but right now, as we spoke, IT sector is trying to act defensive.
Yeah.
So we are not seeing velocity in the fall. That is what what we are looking at. So one gets in trouble even if you're going to short sell or even if you buy. So, well, index is quite a dicey thing right now.
You know, Vaishali, the last second of 24,084, 24,079 is being sort of held on to. What you will see is that one of the index heavyweights stocks will be beaten badly for 5 minutes, and that will sort of break 24,080, 24,070, 75, and then maybe something worse will start. I'm just trying to point out on a few stocks that are in the green. Sakshi, Mayuresh's favorite Bikaji Foods is now in the green, 860.3% higher. Rainbow Hospitals, this is a children's hospital with a very specific point of view as far as business is concerned. A very high-end maternal setup at Rainbow. It's getting rewarded very well, 7.5% higher. This is a record high, 1679. You have a very, very strong balance sheet, something that I have tracked for 30 years. Sundaram Finance, now up 1% at 4891. This is not a stock that we discuss. Something Sakshi, you and I discuss very often offline, and none of it can be said publicly, which is Honasa Beauty Products, 400 for you, 1.27% higher. BSE is again back in action, 45.59, 2.5% higher. Motherson showing signs of uptick, and of course NMDC. NMDC also came out with their October numbers as far as the volumes were concerned. Fairly strong traction there, but the pain is deep, and the pain is getting felt across all parts of the market. That's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is no better way of putting at it, that the selling pressure continues to sort of accelerate, and two things are to be blamed for it: the US 10-year yield, and of course a very, very terrible set of second quarter numbers that almost practically destroyed sentiment on Dalal Street. Sakshi.
Okay, broader markets also see Azad Engineering, something we rarely discussed, about 13.5% higher. This is after a news flow today that came in. Remember, the company has signed a long-term contract worth 700 crores with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, and that's something that has pulled up the stock sharply higher in trade. 13.5%, it's near the day's high point. Vaishali, would you look at the chart and tell us what should be done here, Azad Engineering?
Just a minute.
Sure, absolutely. 1651 is the current level for this one. We are actually looking at the news flow that's playing up. Remember, the company had been in trend in the early part of somewhere 2080 as well. Consistently, it was on the move, and of course, then came the downturn, and it's again showing some trend on the back of this news flow now.
I think it's a good buy with today's lowest stop loss. We've seen a gap up opening, but even if there is a gap filling, I think 1450 should act as a good support. It's come out. Currently, what we are seeing, it's come out of its consolidation, even a long-term trend line breakout. So I think in all likelihood, today's low should act as a good stop loss level. And this stock can gradually progress towards 1800, 1850 to start with.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as Azad Engineering is concerned. Several other names also within the broader markets that are still showing a lot of strength, even in this market, which is now down 236 points, viewers. Keep an eye out on that. 24,070 being tested on the lower side. LG Rubber, 14% higher in trade. Rainbow Children's has been highlighted by Shail already. We are also looking at Kitex Garments, that's been up 5%. It's been an uptrend within the textile space. We're also looking at McLeod Russell, that's up 5%. GE Power is another one that's up 5% as well. These are some of the stocks that I could pull out that are actually on the move. In Solara, Active Pharma Sciences is also up by about 5% in trade. So within the broader markets, these are the pockets that are continuing to show some strength as well. So we'll keep an eye out on some of such stocks as well. Let's look at the Nifty Next 50. What's holding up is Macrotech Developers, 2.5% higher in trade. Varun Beverages is up 0.5%. Samvardhan Motherson is also up by about 0.3%. You have Zydus Life Sciences that's also up in trade as well. Let us look at one more share. Okay, so that's down in trade. PNB is now pulling up in trade about 0.5%. Vaishali, how are you looking at this PSU banking space? I think last two trading sessions we did see some bounce return on across the sector. Of course, earnings did play a part there. Stocks like PNB, Bank of Baroda, Bank of Maharashtra, Indian Bank as well. These were in thick trade last week. How would you really look at some of these stocks now?
So I would say PSU banks on the whole, the index, I think there is an exhaustion in selling. I don't really see much of a selling coming in these banks. In fact, these are most of these banks have come towards prominent support levels. So I guess once market stabilizes, I think there will be a good pickup coming in these stocks.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the options trade that I had highlighted, the Nifty 50 7th November expiring put of 24,000 is now at 174. Remember, we highlighted it at 158, 160, and the all-time high for this put is 203. Let us see how it goes intraday. But for today, it's already up 66%. You have to be very careful because 24,080, 24,074 is a space which is very, very strongly defended by the bulls. This is the low of October 25th, and at this level, the market is at a 3-month low because last time you saw these prices, it was August 5th. Look at India VIX. India VIX is now up 6% at 1685. The last time you saw this, it was 7th of August. So again, a 3-month high on India VIX, and across the board, you see a very, very strong selling pressure coming in. The same put, Nifty 50 put for 24,000 for expiring November 7th is now 177.85. Needless to say, the high for the day on this put is 182.5. Let us see what happens, but frankly, it's not looking good. Vaishali.
I do agree. I mean, the market is not holding on, but let's wait for the levels to break. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, again, as I have said, that the US 10-year yield is the biggest culprit. Plus, it's a very, very heavy event-led week. We have 10 Nifty companies coming out this week, and the previous numbers that we've seen have been terrible, terrible, terrible. And they've destroyed sentiment no end, and that is getting reflected in the markets. As on his way out, Vineet was pointing out, if there is this intense urge to buy, ladies and gentlemen, then you will have to start learning relative strength. And relative strength in terms of within the Nifty is being shown in tech spaces. HCL Tech, the numbers were also very good. Let's see Vaishali's view on this counter. 1770, consolidating near record highs, up 0.7%. Vaishali, what are the charts telling you?
So, well, currently it has come towards its previous low. So once we see this stock breaking 1750, it damages the trend. But till then, I would say it's still holding on its trend. So, well, nothing happening in the near term. It needs to cross 1800 levels to regain its target, projected target of 1900. But till then, we have to wait. If 1750 levels break, then even this stock would be on a weaker note.
Okay, got it. All right, we've broken 24,050 now, 257 points lower in trade, and markets are absolutely not looking good. It's a continued pressure that we are seeing build up on day one of Samvat 2081. We will continue to track every tick down for all of you viewers, so stay tuned. But you know what is defying the trend is within the small cap space. I think BSE was mentioned by Shail. CAMS is now up 4.5% in this week setup in the markets as well. Vaishali, do you actually think these capital markets related stocks is something that one should be really looking at for a safe zone in the markets right now? Stocks like CAMS, BSE, even broking houses?
I think so, because BSE is doing very well. It's hardly affected by what's happening in the whole of market right now. And so is the case with CAMS. We've already seen good volume pick up today and a good bullish candle. So I think this stock should continue to do well and head towards 5,000 and up.
Okay. 24,000.
Sakshi, the call that we had highlighted is now 196.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The call that we had highlighted, I'm requesting the PCR if they can fire the Nifty 24,000 put expiring November 7th. Let's see whether we can see it on the screen or not. It's now at day's high 199. Remember, yes. No, the price has to be sort of refreshed. The price at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, is 199, and as I had mentioned, the previous high is 203. Most likely you will see a breakout happening beyond 203 as well, as the losses on the Nifty accelerate and as 24,000 comes under risk. I'll give you a better data as far as the top traded counters are concerned. I have 45 in front of me. Out of 45, only 7 are in the green, led by Mahindra & Mahindra, Max Healthcare, CAMS that Sakshi and Vaishali just discussed, Rainbow that I marked, First Source Solutions, Webel Solar. I generally don't track this stock. Vari Energy coming under selling pressure, Sakshi. It got listed last week and now 5.2% lower, 5.5% lower, 27.31. A lot of people are now looking at Vari Energy as one of those stocks which has super low float. Just 7,000 crores worth of shares are in the publicly available float, and that itself is very easy to manage. Let me put it in very simple English, so you can well think what I am trying to convey. But that's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. I think we are just seconds away. Yes, the put is now 204, the one that I mentioned, because Nifty is now slipping lower, 24,027, ladies and gentlemen, 280 points. This put will cross its previous high of 217 that we saw on 28th of October. That's how it is. No ways to sort of cover this bloodshed that's happening on the market. And most likely the first week of the Sambat starts on the back foot. Sakshi.
Absolutely, 24,029 right now. It's a 273 point of a downtick that we are looking at on the Nifty. It's continuing to fall even further in trade. And remember, viewers, AFCON's listing is upon us today. AFCON's infra will be debuting. And in the pre-open BSE, we have seen the stock settle at 430 odd levels. That indicates a 7% discounted listing on AFCON's infra in this weak setup in the market right now. So we will be also looking at AFCON's listing once it happens at 300 once it happens at 10 o'clock as well. So we'll continue to keep an eye out on that too. But the markets are further slipping away. Vaishali, 24,030 has been tested now, 270 points lower in trade. How worse does it get from here on today?
I think 23,900 should be the next target for now.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as the Nifty is concerned. How about the Nifty Bank? How are you tracking that one? 331 points lower, about 0.6% of a cut. It's still better than the benchmark index, but it's still down about 0.6% odd or so.
Yes, so I mean, comparatively, it's outperforming, but well, I guess, and so far, all these banking stocks are still holding on. So, on a near-term basis, if 51,200 levels break, then I guess 50,800 and so on.
Any key stocks on the short side that you'd like to highlight, Vaishali?
I'm looking at DLF because DLF has made a lower top formation in the last week, also what we were seeing, and today also we are seeing good selling coming in. So I guess this stock could be a good sell strategy for target of 760.
It's the pharma sector all the way, Sakshi. I'll give you names where massive volumes are coming in, and this is how money is shifting into relatively strong counters, the relative strength that I was pointing out. Look at Divi's Lab, very high volumes in the first 40 minutes of trade. The counter itself is not up majorly, 0.2% higher, but you have strong volumes backing this move. Look at Lupin that we've just discussed. Look at Supriya Life Sciences, now at 632. It's slipping from day's high, down 1%, but this is a stock that people can look on the long side. As also Aurobindo Pharma. This is the newest that's just joined the pack, 0.1% higher, and after a very nice relaxed profit booking for the last maybe 10 weeks or so, there are showing signs of activity at 1400 levels. Vaishali, this has been one of those great stocks on the momentum side. What is Oro Pharma's medium term chart telling you?
So if I'm looking at the daily chart, I think the way it has already been corrected quite a bit. I think it is ready for a bounce back. It can go towards 1430, 1440 to start with.
Okay, got it. Let's again look at some other pockets where we can be discussing any names today. On the positive side, you have Jyoti Structures within the broader markets, that's up now 5 odd percent higher. Transport Corporation of India is up by 5.5% as well. Any other newer names that have entered? Walchand Nagar Industries, that's up 5.7%. Those stocks which we hardly discuss on the channel, those are the ones that are actually defying the trend. Bajaj Holdings is now up 1.8% as well. Macrotech, however, is up. So, Vaishali, you did talk about sell on this on DLF. But Macrotech is defying the trend, still up 1.5 odd percent higher. How is the trend here looking?
So I think this stock was already corrected to quite an extent, and then there was a reversal. So in fact, we had recommended this as a buy to our clients. Currently, it is about 200-day moving average. It's given a good bounce. So if it sustains a high above these levels, the near term now which was the earlier resistance, 1200 was the resistance, and it's moved past that. So if it sustains that on these levels, I think it can go towards 1400.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as Macrotech is concerned. 1% lower for the mid cap index and over 1.5% cut for the small caps as well. Cochin Shipyard is now down 4 odd percent. Top loser on the mid cap 100 index. When we look at Hindustan Zinc that we had tracked all across last 2 weeks, that's down 3.5%. Vodafone Idea is down 3.5%. Mangalore Refinery is down 3%. Suzlon, HPCL, Bharat Dynamics, they're all cuts of over 3% can be seen. IRB Infra also down by 4% nearly. These are the stocks that are showing sharp downticks in the broader markets. So within the small cap basket as well, PVR Inox is down by 5.2%. Chennai Petroleum is down by 5% as well. Credit Access Grameen is down 4%. Blue Star Brigade, Triveni Turbine, Welspun, Inox, across the board there is a sharp cut being seen on various sectors and on various stocks in trade today. Oil marketing companies, Vaishali, for you. Of course, ATF and commercial LPG prices have been hiked, and that also has been a dampener of sorts too. Your own sense, this has been an outperforming space in somewhat 2080 as well. How should one be really looking at these commodities?
You're talking about Hindustan Zinc and those stocks?
I'm talking about the oil and gas based stocks, maybe the OMCs that were the outperformers of the recent past. How should one be really looking at this? The
I
refinery
guess
space is not doing as well.
I guess the trend is damaged, so I think it can be a miss.
It can be a miss right now. Okay, so there is practically nothing that seems good at this point in time. Vaishali, anything before we let you go that you'd like to highlight for today on either the positive or the negative side on the markets?
So I would say the bias is a little bit corrective. No point getting into haste to buy. Let's wait for market stability. As I said, now market Nifty is getting into the red territory, and we are looking for a further downside. So it has to be, the view is sell on rise. And I tell you, the bias is corrective even if you see other parameters. Nifty has got its trend weakened, its monthly trend weakened after 11 months. So clearly there is weakness. Till now we were saying it is sideways move. But now as we are breaking the support levels, the trend is quite decisive towards the downward movement. So view is definitely sell on rise and wait for market stability.
Okay, view is definitely on the negative side, and one should wait for the markets to get stable at this point in time. Right, Vaishali? We'll leave you at that. Thank you so much for being with us on this special edition to share with us your thoughts. Are not looking good, and we will continue to need your help to guide our viewers through this extreme volatility and downturn in the market. So we'll have you more often now through the course of this week as well. 269 points lower on the Nifty, 24,037 currently as well. I think what we should be doing is shifting focus to the primary market action. Remember, Afcon's Infra, the infrastructure arm of Shapoorji Pallonji Group, which is set to list on the stock exchanges today, will be listing at 10 a.m. As I already indicated, that the stock is looking at a discounted listing of around 430 odd levels. The issue price was about 463 odd rupees. The company has raised about 5,430 odd crore rupees as well. This is via 1250 crores via fresh issue and about 4,180 odd crore rupees via offer for sale as well. And we are just looking at shots coming in from the National Stock Exchange live. About 35 seconds remaining for the stock to get listed, and then you can see the bell ring as well. The entire team of Afcons is right there on stage to mark their historic beginning on the Dalal Street. But amidst this extremely weak setup, one is looking at a discounted listing on that one. Shail.
Afcons is getting listed at somewhere like 426 rupees. That's an 8 percentage point discount. 423.95, ladies and gentlemen. Slipping 422, 8% lower. 428. The first 1 or 2 minutes of the trade are very volatile. That's primarily because of a lot of grey market activity that starts to get squared up. So a muted listing, now down 6%. And let me just give you the gist. The issue was priced at 463 rupees, and at this level the market capitalization is 17,000 crore rupees. Promoter holding remains at 67%. The price to book ratio is 3.5 and the price to earnings is 37.8. This was a very well how should I say, good IPO. Total size was 5,430 crores, out of which the fresh issue was 1250 and offer for sale was at 4,180 crores. It did receive a lot of oversubscription levels as well, but such is the stickiness in the market today that the listing is below par at 430 rupees. Down 6.5% in a market that is afflicted by a lot of negative developments globally, as also less than spectacular, less than expected second quarter earnings. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we will draw curtains to the morning session at Market Today. Of course, remain glued on Business Today television for all that is happening in the markets. We leave you with 24,000 intact on the Nifty so far. The index is down 1.1%. The first 45 minutes have been painful. The Nifty bank is down 300 points, ditto on the IT index. The broader markets are in pain. NSE 500 is down 1.2%, down 262 points. And the last advanced decline ratio that we leave you with is 369 shares in the green versus 1941 in the red. So it's an easy 1:6. For every one stock that has risen on the Dalal Street, 6 have fallen. So not a good week to start Samvat 2081 with. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Okay, viewers, we'll wrap it up at that. But do stay tuned on to Business Today television, as we will continue to track the market move throughout the course of the session, and we'll get you market masters' views as well in this downturn in the market, which you really need to understand before taking any drastic step in the markets. You have to be very cautious at this point in time to take any fresh trades. At the same time, for your existing portfolio, do not come into a panic mode and react at this point in time as well. Just just let the market stabilize, and only then take an action. That's the advice that most of our experts are also giving at this point in time. This could be an indication of some more downtick to come in. We will have to see where the bottom is made, but right now it's a very, very volatile market. We already began this show by saying that it's going to be a globally events heavy week as well. So that is also going to be keeping the lid on the market moves as well. So keep an eye out on all of those and be with us on Business Today Television as we help you navigate through all of these important factors.
Ayodhya scripts history once again. $25 lakh diyas illuminated the ghats of Saryu on Wednesday, making a Guinness World Record.
The new Guinness World Record title holders for the
world's largest display of diyas lit up the temple town on the eve of Diwali, the first after the Pran Pratishtha of Ram Mandir in January this year.
I wish you could see, some of the drones in the sky and the way these entire buildings are lit up. It's unreal. It really feels surreal because of just how beautiful it is. And like I've said, you hear all of these verses, you're hearing these moments from the Ram Katha being narrated in front of you, and it's a goosebumps moment essentially.
Thousands of people gathered along the banks of the river to witness the grand spectacle.
More than 30,000 volunteers have been here, and how they are in a way trying to light up the diyas out here as the time has come for get their hard work registered in the Guinness Book. And the visuals telling the entire story, how the Saryu River is also soaking in all that particular things.
UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath led the celebrations by applying tika to the artists portraying Lord Ram, Sita and Lakshman, symbolizing Lord Ram's return to Ayodhya. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath inaugurated Deepotsav 2024 after offering prayers to Ram Lala. He also performed the Maha Aarti at the Saryu Ghat.
ये जो दीप आपके द्वारा जलाए जाएंगे केवल दीप नहीं है, ये सनातन धर्म का विश्वास है। प्रभु राम की कृपा अवश्य बरसेगी। 500 वर्षों के बाद वे अपने धराधाम पर अपने काज को प्रारंभ करने के लिए अवश्य कृपा बरसाएंगे। आप कार्य करिए, कृपा भगवान की अपने आप बरसने वाली है।
The Chief Minister hailed the Narendra Modi government for developing Ramnagari.
अयोध्या को दुनिया की सुंदरतम नगरी बनाएंगे। आज अयोध्या चमक रही है, दुनिया अयोध्या की ओर आ रही है। 31,000 करोड़ रुपए की लागत की परियोजनाएं या तो पूरी हो गई है या जिन पे कार्य युद्ध स्तर पर चल रहा है। अयोध्या एक शुरुआत है सनातन धर्म के लिए। विरासत और विकास के प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के विजन को जमीनी धरातल पर उतारने के लिए।
The auspicious night ended with a drone show and laser display narrating Ramayana, symbolizing return of Lord Ram.
The Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Yojana will now cover all senior citizens above the age of 70. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech at the event on Tuesday, where the decision was announced, has sparked a political showdown. Modi took aim at the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi and the Trinamool Congress in West Bengal for opting out of the Ayushman Bharat Yojana.
मैं दिल्ली के 70 साल के ऊपर के जितने बुजुर्ग हैं और पश्चिम बंगाल के 70 साल के ऊपर के जितने बुजुर्ग हैं, उनसे क्षमा मांगता हूं कि मैं आपकी सेवा नहीं कर पाऊंगा.
The Aam Aadmi Party hit back at Prime Minister Modi, alleging large-scale fraud under the central scheme.
सीएजी का कहना है कि आयुष्मान योजना में बहुत सारे घोटाले हैं. आपको 5 रुपए की क्रोसिन चाहिए या आपको 50 लाख रुपए या 1 करोड़ रुपए का इलाज कराना है, सब कुछ फ्री है. हमारा कोई 5 लाख रुपए तक की लिमिट नहीं है. तो फिर आयुष्मान योजना का दिल्ली के अंदर कोई मतलब नहीं रह जाता है.
The Aam Aadmi Party and BJP traded charges on the efficacy of the health scheme.
कोई भी सरकार अगर 1 दशक से यहाँ पर सत्ता भोग रही है तो स्वाभाविक सी बात है आप उससे ये अपेक्षा करेंगे, खास करके अगर वो अपने हेल्थ मॉडल का बखान कर रही होगी, कि वो उस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में दिल्ली के अस्पतालों में कुछ वृद्धि करेगी. लेकिन दिल्ली में 1 दशक से एक नया अस्पताल अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की सरकार ने खोला नहीं. यहाँ पर हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की वृद्धि तो छोड़िए, यहाँ पर तो घटौती हुई है.
आपके तो मंत्रियों के अस्पताल है नोएडा के अंदर, कैलाश हॉस्पिटल. आप बताइए कितने आयुष्मान भारत के मरीजों की जो है दिल की और न्यूरो की सर्जरी कर रहे हैं वो लोग. गुड़गांव के अंदर प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल भरे पड़े हैं. मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाहता, बड़े बड़े अस्पताल हैं. हरियाणा में है, आयुष्मान भारत है. हरियाणा के कितने गरीबों का इलाज जो है उन बड़े बड़े प्राइवेट अस्पतालों में हो रहा है आयुष्मान भारत में, मुझे बताएं.
The Trinamool Congress claimed that Ayushman Bharat is a copy of the Bengal government's health scheme.
जो सेंट्रल स्कीम जो है, उनका जो रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन है, वो तो हर परिवार का हर आदमी वो तो अवेल नहीं कर सकता. स्वास्थ्य साथी जो स्कीम है, ये हर परिवार का हर आदमी का पूरा कवरेज का जो व्यवस्था यहाँ पर है, तो उनके कंपैरिजन में तो दिल्ली का प्राइम मिनिस्टर का वो जो स्कीम्स है वो तो कुछ भी नहीं है.
Government data shows over 40% of hospitalization and treatment under the Ayushman Bharat Yojana have taken place in opposition-ruled states, including Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Punjab and Jharkhand.
The BJP is pointing out at the lack of facilities, medicines and crumbling down, has accused that the healthcare facility in the national capital is crumbling down under the Aam Aadmi Party government. So it's an all-out war between BJP and Aam Aadmi Party and Trinamool Congress over Ayushman Bharat Yojana.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.
This Diwali, celebrate with the best you can get for your money.
We bring you exclusive insights from top market analysts to brighten your investment portfolio.
A series of very special shows ahead of the Festival of Lights and a very special Muhurat trading session on Diwali.
From consumer to enterprise, illuminate your Diwali with the brightest tech from Tech Today.
Catch all the festival season action on Business Today magazine, our website, and right here on Business Today television.
A 32-year-old brand with impeccable lineage. Business Today puts you on top of your finances this Diwali.
मैं दीपावली का पर्व आप लोगों के बीच मनाता हूं, तो मेरी दीपावली की मिठास कई गुना बढ़ जाती है.
Prime Minister Modi keeping up with his tradition of celebrating Diwali with security forces jawans.
भारत माता की जय! भारत माता की जय!
This time he was in Lucky Nala area of Kutch, which is close to the Indo-Pakistan border. Prime Minister celebrated Festival of Lights with BSF personnel in Sir Creek, a long-standing flashpoint between both countries.
आज देश में एक ऐसी सरकार है जो देश की सीमा के 1 इंच से भी समझौता नहीं कर सकती। आज जब हमें जिम्मेदारी मिली है तो हमारी नीतियां हमारी सेनाओं के संकल्पों के हिसाब से बनती है। हम दुश्मन की बातों पर नहीं, हमारी सेनाओं के संकल्पों पर भरोसा करते हैं।
Prime Minister shared a meal and offered sweets to Jawans deployed in an area marked by land, river and sea. The area has been a hotbed of Pakistan-based smugglers and infiltration activity. Since assuming office in 2014, Prime Minister Modi has marked Diwali with soldiers in various locations, beginning with Siachen that year, followed by visits to Punjab's border, Sumdo in Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir's Gurez sector, Uttarakhand's Harsil, Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri, Rajasthan's Jaisalmer, Kashmir's Naushera and Kargil, and last year in Himachal's Lepcha. On the line of actual control, Indian-Chinese troops exchanged Diwali sweets at 5 locations along the line of actual control, including 2 in Ladakh. This comes a day after the two sides completed military disengagement from Depsang and Demchok areas in line with last week's patrolling agreement. Sweets were exchanged at Chushul Moldo and Daulat Beg Oldie as well. Festive cheer marking the first baby steps towards what could be deeper normalcy. Here's wishing all of our forces a very happy and peaceful Diwali.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.
Very warm welcome, Sriharsha and Rahul. Happy Diwali, and what a day to have you with us to discuss your public issue. Lots of eyes on the numbers. I want to start by asking you why this IPO now. The valuation seems to be at the same level as your last funding round. Take our viewers through what you intend to do with the proceeds, including the portion that you perhaps have marked for growth strategies in the future.
Thank you so much, Siddharth, for having us in front of your viewers. Happy Diwali to everyone listening in. It is a big milestone for us in the company's journey, and it's our next phase as the company. As
recording in progress.
Why the IPO? I think it's not something that is sudden. It was always one of the most logical next steps for us as a company after having raised, institutional capital over these years. And for us, we were just waiting for the right time to be ready to do that. And over the last 2-3 years, as we've shaped the business in a way that we were feeling excited about. When we looked inward, we were feeling excited about how we were going about, the overall progress of the business. All of this coming together meant that we felt like now we are ready for our next step in our life as a public company. It is we understand it's a huge responsibility of broadening the shareholders, stakeholders, everyone as you do this. So everything on our mind was readiness. And when we felt it in the bones, we said, let's go.
Sriharsha, 4 times a year at least to deal with the press, to deal with analysts, to deal with con calls. So I guess you are also mentally prepared for that, and in your daily and quarterly schedules, you will have to keep that in mind. But I want to take our viewers through some of the headlines that have been generated since yesterday when you spoke to the press, all of us, about this. And this is quick commerce. A couple of headlines say that quick commerce will be bigger than food delivery. You are also quoted as saying that quick commerce cannot win via cash. Put that in context for our viewers, because this is one of the key things in terms of future growth that a lot of investors will be looking forward to.
Also, that I think already for the quick commerce business in the last quarter that we published was 40% of the food delivery business. So it's at meaningful scale, and it is growing at a much faster pace than the food delivery business. Also because of how large the category is and how well everyone in the category is doing. We're doing very well, and the coming together of all of these means that we do believe that quick commerce will surpass food delivery in the next few years. It's not going to be very long. It's just a function of how large both the businesses are relatively and how much they're growing in relation.
Rahul, if I may ask you to expand on that answer, in terms of quick commerce, what's the strategy that you have in mind? Because the space has other strong players. How do you intend to sort of invest in ramping this up, and what are the key metrics that you will consider for this business?
Sure. Thank you so much, and wishing you and your viewers a very happy Diwali. I think what we are looking at the overall space is that consumers are reimagining what the future of quick commerce should be on an everyday basis. There are more categories getting added on a daily basis. There are more SKUs getting added, and we do believe that we have to keep redesigning the format of the business every quarter to meet the consumer expectations. Towards that, one thing that we have done in the recent past is to increase the size of our dark stores. We have doubled the availability of number of SKUs in these dark stores over the last 12 months. And we are also experimenting with larger format dark stores, which could be 2 to 3x the size of a normal dark store. So these are the various formats in which we are going to experiment to meet the ever-growing consumer needs in this business.
Thanks for that, Rahul. Shreya, coming back to you, other analysis of your performance and plans, and I'm quoting one more, says that if Swiggy is to outpace Zomato in the coming decade, incremental gains in market share or marginal growth will not be enough. The company will need to deliver new products that expand its total addressable market. Because you've been so hands-on when it comes to product, what are your plans and how would you answer this question that has been raised?
So yesterday also we were asked, how are you going to gain share in food delivery? How are you going to gain share in quick commerce? And we actually answered the same. Only execution is not going to be enough. Execution and innovation both are going to be incredibly important. And I think we're ready for it. I think we're firing this year, at least on the innovation spectrum. We've launched a slew of new things. And with most innovations, some of them work, some of them don't. But we have it in our DNA, and we should count on our ability to deliver on this promise in the next few years. But I totally agree with the statement that only execution is not going to be enough. Execution, innovation, both are important.
What is the innovation pipeline looking like at this stage? What can you share with our viewers as to what your future thinking is in this regard?
Yeah, I'll give you maybe a few peeks into the future that we think should exist as well. I think something that we launched a month back, 3 weeks back, is a quick commerce version of food delivery, where we've been over the last 2-3 years, the country's gotten more and more used to 10-minute delivery of essentials. And insight was maybe food delivery starting to feel a little slow at 30 minutes. And we said, hey, can we actually challenge ourselves? Because there are so many restaurants across the country who are able to prepare food really fast. Can we take all the learnings from quick commerce and deliver even food really, really fast? And we launched an initiative called Bolt, where now every fast prep restaurant, like a Chayo's, a Starbucks, restaurants like these that give you food very, very fast. Anyway, we've converted them into a 10-minute restaurant where any consumer close by can get their food in 10 minutes. So now that's one big pilot. We believe it will open up new consumption occasions and use cases. Even on the Instamart side, in an industry first, we launched pharmacy as a pilot in the last week in the quick commerce business. So, and I could go on and on, but I think this year the wheels are turning really, really well for the innovation pipeline, and we remain quite excited.
I have to share this with you and our viewers that just earlier this week, the boss of India's and one of the world's largest stock exchanges said that India, because of its digital backbone and the entire regulatory framework, is almost ready for a real-time settlement. I kind of, when you say 10 minutes food delivery, it's as instant as it can be. But what about your revenue and your profitability? Because beyond the plans, a lot of investors will be looking at your forecast with regard to when you see break-even and profitability being achieved, considering what the other rival in the market has been doing as far as numbers are concerned.
Sure, I can take that. So last year, we did 35,000 crores in our overall gross order value across the three large businesses of food delivery, quick commerce, and the dining out vertical. We have grown at a CAGR of 32% over the last 3 years. So very, very strong, top line growth. This has also led to our food delivery business becoming profitable on a fully loaded EBITDA basis. And this year on Q1, we delivered a 0.8% positive EBITDA. Our contribution margin has been expanding both in the food delivery business as well as in the quick commerce business. Our monetization levers have started to kick in meaningfully, especially the advertising engine in both the businesses is firing really strong for us right now. Our focus on variable costs as well as fixed costs has meant that we are able to deliver both contribution margin gains as well as operating leverage in each of the businesses. So yes, while we can't give specific guidance, and more of that we will share during our quarterly earnings releases, we are very, very hopeful of the journey ahead, having already turned one business fully profitable.
Rahul, for those retail investors who may not have sort of poured through the details, would it be possible for you to explain your current percentage contribution in terms of your overall revenue mix and some numbers specifically about how your ad business has been performing and the growth that you have seen?
Sure. So in the food delivery business, our contribution margin was 6.4% in Q1. And this has seen a consistent increase from close to say 3% 18 months ago, and therefore the result in the EBITDA that came in at 0.8%. In our quick commerce business, which went through its journey of investment cycle, the expansion that we did on our supply chain network meant that from a negative 23% contribution margin in FY23, we went down to negative 6% in FY24, and further down to negative 3% in the first quarter of 2025. So a very, very strong trajectory as a result of the both, as I said, focus on revenue as well as the variable costs. On advertising, we have seen in the restaurant and the food delivery business a widening base of the restaurant partners participating on our platform. And in the quick commerce business, we are seeing significant demand from the brand partners, FMCG companies, our direct-to-consumer brands who are wanting to reach out and focus on their reaching out to their set of consumers. So a very, very broad-based, I would say, participation, and we do expect this to continue in the future.
One more follow-up, Rahul, and this is to do with some commentary on how you have reduced the OFS component of the issue. Care to expand on why that happened and what's the broader thinking there?
Sure. So our largest investor, Process Group, they had to come below the regulatory threshold of 25%. As we have increased our primary offering by 20%, they had to, they chose to reduce their OFS, selling component to come below the regulatory threshold. So that was the only change. Apart from Process Group, as you would have seen, most of the OFS sellers are the early investors who have come in the journey right from 2015 along with the company.
Sriharsha, I was reading about the first round of funding that you received and how you went about it. And today, as your early investors are likely to pocket between 3 to 35 times, what's the broader message that you can share with us? Did you ever imagine that you'll be able to do justice to some of your earliest backers? And are you happy with the kind of returns that you are being able to provide them at this stage?
Very, very happy about it, Siddharth. I think I believed in it, but seeing it adds another layer of belief, and that makes it really, really sweet. I mean, I truly felt it when I told them this can become bigger, and it's really exciting to see that come to life.
I come back to quick commerce, and you must have seen reportage in the recent days that small kirana stores are facing the brunt of quick commerce, and there is already some amount of regulatory pressure, in some ways policy pressure, that is being created, might be created. In terms of risk, do you see any policy action likely happening, and that posing a risk to the overall quick commerce space, not just specifically you?
So, we are in touch with the regulators, right? And we have been consistently in touch with them, explaining to them the overall ecosystem benefit that we are bringing to bear. Whether it's the farm gate procurement, where we are eliminating middlemen and getting access to fair pricing to our farmer community, or the supply chain investments that we have made in warehousing as well as the dark store, and thousands of jobs having been created there. We have added 107,000 delivery partner jobs in the last 1 year. So the overall ecosystem benefit that a domestic homegrown consumer tech company has been able to demonstrate and unlock real value across the stakeholders is something that I think the regulators and the government of the day is really proud of. This having come from a domestic innovation. I think on the kirana side, last year we acquired a business called Link. So Link is an authorized distributor of FMCG companies, selling to tens of thousands of kiranas on a daily and weekly basis. So we are currently, working with more than 20 FMCG, large brand partners of ours, and we are helping now kiranas unlock real-time, inventory ordering, getting them access to speedier deliveries, better fill rates. As you know that, the kirana stores do suffer with low fill rates because of the distribution challenges that exist in the current network. So what we are trying to do is to bring kiranas the benefits of technology that we have used on the consumer side in the B2B side, and get them access to promotions and discounts from the brands directly sourced, so that they can cater to the neighborhood that they service to. So I think bringing them to a level playing field is the need of the hour, and we are committed to doing that through our Link business.
Okay. One final question to you, Sri Harsha, before I let you go. And this is to get you to address those retail investors, and I make that conscious choice because of the kind of audience that we also have, who looked at the Hyundai IPO. That's a company that's invested for decades in India. They look at you in terms of a story that we are all proud of, homegrown story at the cutting edge of the intermix of digital technologies. To them, in the recent couple of years, they have invested in growth stories and looked beyond losses on a balance sheet. If there were retail investors who were right now in this conversation and putting that question to you, should they invest on growth or should they only strictly go by the ink on the balance sheet in terms of the promise that Swiggy holds for them? How would you respond?
Yeah, I think at the high level, anyone who's considering an investment in Swiggy should be excited about the idea of investing into consumption in India at scale. And that's a secular growth story. That's not going away anywhere over the next 1-2 decades. I think the next 2 decades are all about this upper part of India consuming more and more, and that base itself growing. And Swiggy is one way to take a bet on, let's say, that broader story. The next one, if you have to think about, are you betting on growth? Are you betting on profitability? I think even if you look at how the business is going, the business is a sum of many parts. The food delivery business is growing steadily and has demonstrated profitability, and we expect it only to increase in the next few years. And the quick commerce business is in a different stage where it is going through hyper growth. I think what I would maybe ask your viewers, potential shareholders of the company, to take a long view on, let's say, India's consumption story over the next 1-2 decades, and maybe look at, let's say, how we've been able to create categories as well as convert them to profitability with the first time in food delivery. And I hope they can believe that we can do it many more times in the future.
Yeah, maybe if I just to add on that. If I just add on to that, see, many of our prospective retail shareholders are also, Swiggy's core consumers, right? And think the value unlock that we do on an everyday basis, the convenience that we provide to them on an everyday basis, I think we do expect that we will get the same support of them in the public markets.
Well, I put that same question to the Hyundai management when they were up for the issue, and I said, do retail shareholders stand the chance of getting a discount because they are going to invest in the company and keep buying your cars? I posed that same question to you, Sriharsha. Any possibility that there might be some preferential treatment for Swiggy orders who are also retail shareholders?
So we are looking at that aspect. If regulatory, considerations are there, we will definitely try to give, more value benefits to our retail shareholders, considering the regulations currently in there.
Absolutely, we'll need that. One quick final point to you, Sriharsha. I was reading analysis where one commentator said that for reaching your valuation, there was a sort of 30-70 mix in terms of if 10 or 11 rupees is the valuation, you spent almost 3.6 or 3.7 to get there, and there was a comparison with others. Is that a fair comparison, that you spent far more to reach where you have?
I think it's an unfair comparison, firstly, Siddharth. And the reason is that a fair comparison would make note of not only what the cash that you've raised, but also what you've diluted in pursuit of M&A. As all your viewers may realize, every time there is an M&A, you are acquiring a company, you're diluting your stake again. So any long-term shareholder should look at not just the funds raised,